Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another great version of the 9 a.m. spot. We have a great program today and some great guests. Before we get into the meat of the session, we'll just do some introductions, some self-introductions. Again, I'm Bruce Singer. I'm the host of the 9 a.m. spot. My firm, CFO Services by Bizon Capital, provides chief financial officers to companies on a part-time basis, a contract basis, a project basis. That's who we do. We have a great team today. It's bankers and CPAs. that's the theme. Okay, so why don't we start just with self-introductions. Frank, tell us a bit about yourself.
Morning, Bruce.
Morning.
So my name is Frank. I'm a tax partner, CPA with a small mid-size firm here in Toronto. We deal with a lot of owner-managed businesses, take a very proactive approach in terms of helping them, not just with the day-to-day accounting, but the tax planning, but just overall business strategy in a proactive manner.
Thank you. And Nita?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So my name is Nida Faruqi. I'm the Manager Cash Management with TD Commercial Bank in Woodbridge at Pine Valley Commercial Center. I assist commercial banking and business banking clients with their day-to-day operational banking needs and provide solutions to better provide them efficiencies.
Thank you so much. Melanie? Your audio, turn on your audio. Yeah.
Melanie Russell. I am a CBB and a CPA, CA, work with a firm called Kalis Valuations that I founded, focusing on business valuations, dispute resolution, forensic accounting, etc. And very happy to be invited by Bruce today.
Thank you, Melanie. Richard? Turn on your audio. Audio. Yeah. Everybody forgets the audio.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm an account manager at TD Commercial, same with Nita, and we're based out of Woodbridge, Vaughan, and I specialize in working capital financing and real estate financing in the commercial space, and I'm very excited to be here today to share some of my thoughts and experiences on the impacts of the pandemic.
Thank you, Richard. Crystal?
Hi, everyone. My name's Crystal Van Westrop. I'm a senior manager at the Pine Valley office with Nida and Richard, and I lead a team of account managers there. And like they said, we're very excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. So we're going to start, thank you. We're going to start the meeting. And today is really about a number of things. It's about cash management, efficiencies. There's going to be a lot of great stuff, a lot of new information coming out as well. So we're going to start the discussion, and I'm going to lead the questions, and we'll get into it. And it's pretty easy. We'll have a nice chat here today. And first, Nita, due to this new environment that we all call now the new normal, what are the key insights to share in terms of business to bank relationships? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. So again, these have been very challenging times for everyone the past 5 months. And these are unprecedented times, and we have seen businesses evolving really quickly to comply with social distancing guidelines. And we all have been really trying to switch the way we do our day to.
Oh, we lost her. Some technical difficulties. Oh boy. Richard, do you want to talk about that? Business to bank relationships. There she is. She's back. Sorry. Okay. Nita, put your audio back on. Audio. Thank you. Okay, you were talking about business to bank. That's okay. Yeah, business to bank relationships.
I'm going to join again.
No, you're okay. We hear you. Just give 1 second. There's always some technical difficulties. Just give it a moment. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Thank you. Nina, you got to put your audio on. Audio. Okay. So you started talking about
Can everyone hear me now?
yes, you're good.
Yeah.
We started talking about the business to bank relationship. You were just talking about that.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was dialed in with my phone and I think it dropped. I'm so sorry
No
about
problem.
that.
No problem.
So I'll continue where I left. So yeah, I just wanted to comment that these have been really challenging times for the businesses, and where TD Commercial Banking, comes into play is, we offer a range of solutions with, commercial deposits and cash management services to our business clients. These are full range of electronic cash management services that can make your day-to-day banking really easy and convenient, and also it's very secure. So three things I do want to point out to businesses is how you do your day-to-day accounts. How you collect your payments, how do you make your payments digitally, and how you can avoid waiting in the lines, outside the retail. Retail banking is still there, but we all know that due to social distancing policies, it takes, an hour and a half to make a simple deposit. So some of the things that we have been, offering to our business clients would be a very popular service, which is called remote deposit capture service. So if you're looking to make deposits, you can actually make deposits from your office. We offer a scanner that is, sent to your office, and then, you are able to scan the checks, and the deposits are placed in your account within 2 to 4 hours time. One of the key benefits of this service is that there is no hold on the checks. So versus if you were making a deposit through your ATM, ATM would place a hold on a check deposit, which is more than, let's say, depending on the bank, TD has a policy that if it's more than 100,000, there would be a hold and it would go through the regular 5 business day process. So the scanner comes really, really handy for commercial and business clients where, the funds are deposited. Of course, it is based on the relationship with the bank. So we look at your account history and your banking history. The second product I do want to talk about is electronic fund transfer service. And this service has been, don't use it interchangeably with email money transfer. Email money transfer is totally separate. It is used for more of personal banking. It's for smaller amounts, and you don't have much control on email money transfer once it's sent. Versus electronic fund transfer service uses Canadian clearing system. You can use the service for making payments of any amount to anybody who is banking in Canada, as long as you have their bank account numbers. And the service, works in conjunction with your accounting software. So, you are able to import files and send it to the bank with using a secured platform where it can be authorized by the signing officers. So it's a very quick and convenient way of receiving payments and making payments. And you have some control if you have made an error, you're able to recall that payment within 3 business days of sending the payment. So I strongly encourage our business customers to use electronic fund transfer service versus issuing checks, especially during this pandemic. It's very difficult for to mail the checks or for somebody to come pick up the checks, and that opens a bit of you are exposing yourself to fraud, which is out there and has increased in the last 4 or 5 months. The last thing I would also want to mention is express deposit service. So for businesses that handle a lot of cash and you cannot use the scanner because you have to deposit cash, we offer night deposit service, which is offered outside of a retail branch. So we offer secure bags that you can put your cash deposit and checks in with your deposit slips, and you get a key for the branch chute where you can go and drop your deposit. And those deposits are made the next day in the custody of 2 banking employees and then depositing your account. So those are some of the very popular solutions that we have been offering to our customers and our clients. And they have been really, really helpful in creating efficiency and doing your banking securely.
Thank you, Nita. Thank you, Nita.
Yeah.
Melanie?
Yeah, so next question. So thanks, Nita. You expanded or explained some of the areas that TD is helping out during the COVID time. Richard, can you expand on what TD is doing to help clients in these unusual times?
Yes, of course. So during the pandemic, the bank has been very active to really help out our clients, which includes bank relief, partner program with the government and other organizations. So TD has been providing principal deferrals on existing mortgages up to 6 months, as well as temporary bulges on if there's an operating facility in place, just to provide relief and for temporary liquidity issues. On the partner relief end, TD has been rolling out and partnering with several different institutions. We've been providing EDC insured loans and BDC partner loans, where they insure up to 80% of the loan, with more details, I believe, on the slides. Chris, I don't know if the slides are up. Christine.
No, they're not up. Oh, now they are.
Okay. So those are just the details, just for reference, on the different programs. We have also been partnering with the government to provide the CEBA 40,000 small business loan, as well as the wage subsidy program. So these loans are entirely provided by the government, and we as the financial institutions are only responsible for providing the platform for our clients to apply. So far, the CEBA loan, I would say, is the most popular and cost-effective loan, given that up to $10,000 is forgiven, and if the loan is paid back on time. The first interest payment date would be on January 31st, 2023, if the loan has not been paid back at that time, and the interest rate will be 5% with monthly payments. So they recently also expanded the scope of applicants to cover payrolls of 20,000 to 1.5 million, and also require evidence of non-deferred expenses to be provided as well. So the wage subsidy program has also been really popular, as well as it provides eligible employers with a payroll subsidy of 75% of employee wages for up to 12 weeks, retroactive from March 15, 2020 to June 6, 2020. So in my opinion, the BDC and EDC loans are far more intricate and complicated to get set up, and they all involve credit adjudication from TD's end. And there will also be additional fees taken by both BDC and EDC for their respective organizations. We have only seen really a handful of BDC and EDC guaranteed programs across Canada, as you really need to go through proper adjudication, need security in place, and additional fees. So even though it's guaranteed up to 80%, it is extremely costly, and I wouldn't recommend it unless the business really needs the capital. On the other hand, I believe the CEBA loan has been extremely accessible and really helpful for businesses that are struggling and need temporary financing, as the terms are straightforward and easy to execute on. And for the CEBA loan, I would really recommend to work with your respective accountants to fill out the applications for the government programs, as they have the information needed to apply, such as the CRA business numbers, the payroll numbers, and information from last year's T4 slips. So please do loop in your accountants to assist you on the application. And that would really streamline and save you some time.
Thank you. Thank you. And you can call Frank. if you need
Yeah,
to
exactly.
you call Frank Malata at SBLR. They are a fantastic organization. They're great, really, top notch. Okay, so I'm going to, Frank, so during these times, what can business owners do to help themselves and really put themselves in a better position to thrive?
Well, Richard kind of alluded to it. What we've been doing is we've been working with our clients and the banks. As Richard said, there's a lot of loan programs out there. Some are easier to get, some are more difficult because there's still restrictions, and the banks also need to see that there is a cash flow plan in place, a budget, a business plan to, to repay the loan, and what it is that these businesses are going to do to come out of this downturn. Because at the end of the day, a business needs to thrive. It's not going to just survive by obtaining loans. So what we've been doing with our clients is a combination of business planning and cash flow planning. On the cash flow side, I mean, we did it for ourselves too. Project out for the next 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, we've got a rolling cash flow budget now to the end of the year to determine, what's our cash flow, how can we meet our needs. And there's a lot of things that we do with our clients to look at in terms of, how do you manage your cash flow, not just going for loans, but, we strongly recommend electronic payments, as Nita alluded to. We've converted a lot of our clients to online systems, even on the accounting side, where we use software so we can link in with the banks to their bank statements and credit cards so we get timely information. Invoicing, make sure you invoice your clients immediately, because the sooner they get the invoice, the quicker they can pay. And do things like potentially offer a discount so that you can get your money earlier. You might want to take a discount rather than having a client that's not going to pay you for 6, 7 months. Inventory management is another big one. For businesses that have inventory, it's planning ahead, because there is shortfalls, and obviously you don't want to carry the inventory. And the same thing with your own suppliers is speak to them, because they're in the same boat as you are. Try to get the better terms or try to get a discount if you pay sooner. But the biggest thing for us is having a business plan. Review your operations, review where the company is going to be, where your business is going to be. And now's the time to look at some of those business lines and see what profit potential they have. And, Nita, as mentioned at the top, these are changing times, so you have to reinvent yourself, right? You may have to drop a business line and take a new business line, and the switch from in-person to virtual has been a big deal right now for a lot of owners, because some of them struggle to get there. So we sit down with the clients and we look at that. We look at those cash flow projections. We help develop business plans. Maybe it's now time to look at a different way of marketing your product. And is it a product that you can market online? And develop that plan for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And we're starting to look at 2021 because there's going to be some fallout in 2021. There's no doubt about it. And what are we going to do to come out of it? And once you have that information, it makes it easier for our bankers here, for Richard and Nydia, to sit down with you and say, okay, now we can structure a product that can help you, because we see where your finances are, we see where your cash flows are, and what have you done to make sure that you have that cash flow? It's a relationship, and that's how we've worked with our clients, and that's what we've seen. A lot of our clients come to us for that, and it's partnering up with the bankers to make sure that we can get to this. So, having said that, Richard, what kind of advice would you have when it comes to dealing with clients on the type of banking options that we might use at this time?
Thanks, Frank. I think in terms of banking options, I would go a little step further and just kind of address what I think clients should be doing now. And it kind of ties into the banking options from before as well. So I believe that, business owners right now, I believe a lot have already changed a lot of aspects of their business to respond to challenges posted by the pandemic. So such as what Nita mentioned before, in digitalizing day-to-day operations, deferring payments and all that, all the programs that are offered out there. But these are unnecessary changes for the bank for the clients to survive during this period. But I believe the most important thing that business owners really should be thinking about is really how to shift their business model so that their businesses can adapt and become more efficient moving forward. Like really the temporary help and programs that governments and banks are providing are really just to buy time for corporations to get over this period, or also help them figure out how they're going to pivot and change their business model to meet the cash flow needs in the long term. So, for example, I had one of my clients who primarily sells carpet before the pandemic, and after the during the pandemic, they had to shut down like a lot of the businesses, forcibly so because of the pandemic. And they were able to really be fast in pivoting from manufacturing carpets to trend manufacturing and selling protective gear during this time for medical professionals, just to offset the decline in cash flows. And through this action, they were able to maintain income during this shutdown. So some pivots like this will really help a company maintain their cash flows until demand in their main product offering really slowly bounces back after everything has opened up. So I understand that this is really easier said than done. Not every company is structured in manufacturing, and it wouldn't be an easy switch. But this is just a great example of how a company can adapt quickly to the environment right now and be creative and to try to keep their cash flows positive as well. And when banks see this, you know, they like it when clients are kind of thinking about their long-term plans. They like to know what the clients have long-term wise, so that we can help provide the help needed to get the clients there. So we're not like a permanent solution here, but we are really trying to buy our clients time again, to help them move their business model so that they can be successful in the long term.
Cool. Thank you. So
Okay.
Nita, quick question. Without naming a specific client, can you share a story that will inspire people, like a success story of something you've been involved with and about that business? No, you don't have to name the client, but if you can just give us the details, that'd be great.
Yeah. So, you know what, we deal with a lot of clients who are in the construction industry. As Richard mentioned, they are, you know, they have been used to doing banking with the traditional way of, you know, using checks and going to the branches. And I think, as Frank mentioned, this is the time where a lot of us, like even individually, we were pushed to use a lot more technology. Even as bankers, we are using technology a lot more now because we are all working from home to be in front of our clients. You know, one of my clients who has been in furniture making industry for almost 30 years, so one thing that they did, they also quickly shifted their product line, and they were also manufacturing some PPE to, you know, have those cash flows during the lockdown. But at the same time, they realized that, you know, the banking pattern has to change, and they were open to the idea of change, and they implemented those digital payment solutions because, you know, they had payables and they wanted to get their payments received quickly. So they switched to electronic fund transfer service, and they, you know, they were, I think at that point, they were open to the ideas. So, you know, we tend to resist change, and, you know, we are human beings. We tend to resist technology, and we want to do things the old, you know, the way we have been doing things, the old school way. So in this case, this client, you know, was going to the retail branch and was very frustrated with the wait times. They were, you know, in the line for 2 hours to make a simple deposit. And then when we offered them the scanner, you know, they were open to it. I provided them training over using the Zoom and the WebEx technology, and the training was completed online. And now they have been successfully using it, and they're really happy because they're able to, you know, when they get the check, they're able to put it in their account, because cash flow matters right now. Cash flow is really, really important. So they're able to, you know, save time. And they're able to use it for their benefit. Another thing that I do want to mention here is that, you know, when they move to electronic fund transfer service, they noticed that their cost went actually down, because these services, there is a fee for these services, but, you know, when you move to these services, you are able to save not only time, but cost associated with, you know, printing checks, mailing checks, you know, that can actually add significant amount. I would say that this customer really, you know, amazed me how quickly they adapted, not only on their, you know, on their day-to-day product line, but also how they're doing their banking. And they most of their office employees were working from home, so they also were open to the idea and they adopted very quickly.
Thank you. Sorry, Melly, I apologize. You wanted to ask Frank a question.
I was going to ask Frank a question. So Frank is a CPA with a lot of clients, has probably seen his clients deal with the move to virtual, move to home office, move out of the office, can't even move to a coffee shop, but moving out of the office. So what have you seen, or what kind of challenges have you seen in your clients with respect to dealing with banking arrangements and relationships having to move virtual?
Yeah, so that has been a big challenge for clients, especially for the business owners that weren't technologically savvy. And I think a lot of us weren't as savvy as we thought, because there's been a lot of that we've had to learn over the last few months. The biggest struggle for clients, as I said, is number one was the short-sightedness of not wanting to deal with their bankers because of the fear of fees. But as Nydia explained, there are efficiencies that can be achieved by going the technology route. And the biggest challenge has been for these businesses now to having to switch to an online banking system 100%, because there aren't many people that want to come to your office and pick up checks. There aren't many people that want to deal with paper. And having them understand that, or having them convert to an online system has been the biggest challenge. And for a lot of entrepreneurs, they all want to know everything about everything in their business. And I think what they fail to understand is sometimes you got to push off that administrative side of things to someone else so that you can focus on the growth of your business. So for us, the challenge has been convincing our clients to go online, even on the accounting side. And we were doing it pre-pandemic. We're using a lot of online software, for those of you familiar, like QuickBooks Online or Xero, to get our clients to just do everything. It's almost in real time, so that now you have information quickly, and converting our clients to go to online banking where we can get their bank statements fed right into the accounting system, using the banking products so they can do e-transfers, direct payments, bill payments, all electronically. And all these systems link nicely together. And the beauty of it is you get your cash flow projections, you get your budgeting done almost instantaneously. There's no one really there that has to manually input it. Now, the challenge is not just the learning, it's the security side, because there's a lot of aftermarket products, I call, other players other than the banks. And, we have to give credit to the banking system that we have here in Canada. There's a few players, but they've developed some good security systems. So it's a trade-off. If you want to deal with an aftermarket, a non-banking player, you run the risk that the security isn't as tight as dealing with something like TD. And that's been the biggest challenge for us. But keeping that in mind, an interesting story, one of the other things that we've sort of uncovered lately with all the working from home and the remotely, and it kind of ties into everything here, is insurance coverage. And we experienced this firsthand. We have all our staff working from home, and our insurance provider said to us, well, you don't really have coverage if something goes wrong in terms of data loss, because you weren't covered for your staff working off site. So I encourage a lot of listeners out there, viewers today, that take a look at what your risk and your insurance coverage really covers, because it may not cover your employees working from home. And those really have been the challenges for us, is adapting to technology.
Big challenge.
I just want to add to that, if you don't mind, Frank, quickly about some fraud-related activities that we have seen where you're using your home laptop, and if you log in and if your information is compromised, then that's where you want to make sure that you invest into good antivirus and good security features. Maybe talk to your bank about how you can use the business banking platforms, because most of them offer an added layer of security. So we have seen where sometimes your email is hacked, and sometimes a client, one of your customers might send you an email asking for a wire payment, where actually your email is hacked. So it's not your customer, it's somebody else asking for that payment. So, I strongly urge all businesses and all clients to, anytime you get an email request to send a payment, always call your customer, always confirm their banking details. The frauds that have happened with these kind of email hacks and these kind of, fraudulent wire requests, can range from 100,000s to millions. And, when everyone is panicking and, they understand that, okay, this is the industry you operate in, they can, they can come up with very real looking emails and real looking requests. So make sure that you're always calling, make sure you're investing into, all these added security features for your home laptops as well.
Thank you, Nita. Thank you.
Yeah, just to add on a little bit, I think during this period, during the pandemic, I think a lot of fraudsters are getting either desperate or they're just getting really creative, and so we've been seeing definitely a spike in activities. And so definitely, as Nita said, just wanted to add on, like, be careful with all of this and make sure that you're working with your bank to put in the right security measures in, so that this kind of, and be careful about emails that you don't know who the senders are, and always verify. Always better safe than sorry. But yeah.
Interesting. Frank, just curious, what have you seen in your clients in terms of fraud? Like, is insurance covered? I'm just curious. It's like, what happens if someone takes out $50,000 out of someone's account?
Yeah, you got to be very careful, right? Because the insurance is a business as well, right? And they're looking to make sure that they're making a profit. So it's understanding what you're covered and what you're not covered for. I mean, Nydia made a good point earlier, is the security system with employees at home. We recently discovered that our insurance provider personally said to us that if there was some kind of hack or some kind of virus that was the result of employees using their own home system and it filtered into our cloud system, that we weren't covered. So the turnaround there was, or the solution there, I should say, was we now went out and we said, okay, everyone's got to use their work laptop. So everyone took it home, because now we have control over it. So while it's great to have people working from home, you also want to manage that security system that they have, because let's face it, I mean, their employees are great, and but it's not necessarily their goal to have the best security, or they may not have the proper software or security software, like the Norton antivirus and the McAfee's. That's not necessarily quote unquote business standard security. So for us, it was controlling that. And Richard had mentioned too, having the proper products. I know TD does it, because we've got a number of clients with TD. There isn't really much email use anymore. It's all sort of portal systems where you got to download your statements. And everyone's gone away from the mailing of broker statements or bank statements now. And that's why the beauty of getting onto an electronic platform with your bank like TD, it enables us as accountants to just be authorized so that they can feed those statements directly, virtually, into the accounting software, and that prevents it. So the interception of emails is great, and we're constantly, even our firm as a whole, over the last 5 months, I can't tell you the increase in spam email that has come through, and it's so slight that you wouldn't even know it. I get emails from some of my partners, and just the spelling of the name, you don't even notice it. So you got to be very careful.
Interesting. Well, we're starting our Q&A session, and the question came in that I'd like to ask the panel. It wasn't designed for anybody specific, but somebody wanted to know what information, from terms of a bank to client relationship, what information does the bank really need from a client on an ongoing basis? What is the key information now that a bank needs? Can anybody volunteer for that question?
Yeah, of course. That was actually something that I wanted to bring up in this panel as well.
Yeah.
Just because we as a bank, we love strong reporting quality, and I think that's the fastest way. If a bank can get their hands on it, it's the fastest way we can determine, where the risks are and how much money we can actually provide in lending just detailed information that helps the bank basically build a case to our risk adjudication team so that we can help the clients obtain the loans that they're aiming for. So specifically, what we need is really, I think Frank can answer a lot to it as he's a CPA too, but for the banks, we're really looking for good quality financial statements from a good firm, having projections from a company up to half a year out, and really having clear aged accounts receivable and payable information that can be backdated. And if the client is looking for real estate financing, they should have a clear rent roll in place, which details kind of the tenants in there, the square footage, and also the lease length, from which date to which date, up-to-date lease copies, property tax information, which is usually a tax bill, and also property operating statements, which means really the property expenses that we can see, and also the income that's coming in. So these are the most basic, I would say, for any company that's looking to increase their borrowing power or trying to obtain a loan. I think having this information ready from the get-go would really help speed the process up for us to process, because a lot of the times we get subpar or balance sheets that don't balance, like some statements like these, where we have to go back to the client multiple times, and it just drags on the process, which is really hard for banks and the clients, because the clients are expecting an answer by this date, but we can't really do anything if we have bad quality statements, just because we need to verify, we need to make sure that these numbers are right, and we catch a lot of errors at these a lot of times. So I think having strong reporting quality, going with a good CA firm like Frank, would really help. In terms of the process.
But that's
Richard's absolutely correct there. That's the relationship that we have with the banks. I mean, you gotta get your advisors working together, and the financial statements is a big challenge right now, because the banks want statements that are good quality, and I think business owners fail to realize that there's a big difference between paying an accountant $500 to prepare a tax return and a financial statement, and then using that same information and going to the bank, and the bank asks you for questions, and your accountant can't back up those numbers or doesn't have a sufficient data to reconcile to those numbers. So, we've always said, there's certain, I don't want to get into the accounting side of things, but there's certain levels of statements that are required, whether it's a compilation, a review, or an audit. But the quality of those is very important, because when someone like Richard calls me up and says, okay, I got ABC company and they got a P&L and a balance sheet here, I need backup for these numbers, we got the schedules to support it, all the information that he said, and he can rely on that. And oftentimes, from an accounting perspective, and me being really a tax partner, I tend to do planning also from the tax side to make sure that we minimize our tax, and there's a certain presentation for that purpose versus what the bank needs to see. So you need to juggle that. So for us, and I think that's the biggest thing that clients need to understand now more than ever, the financial statements are important, and having that information on a timely basis, we just talked about it this morning, is getting on a virtual system. Your virtual banking products and your virtual online accounting, so that they all can tie in, and statements can be produced real quick. So like I said, with a lot of the bookkeeping software that we have, we just link all the statements that we get from the TD, and your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet can be produced rather quickly. And that usually is the starting point, and it's sufficient. It adds too much cost when you don't have that. Your loan could be, months out, and then by then, your business could be in a bigger hole.
Can I ask you a question, Frank? I'm curious about, Frank, where you're suggesting where the typical average client needs to be. Is there a lot of runway still to achieve? Like, are people with the program, to say it like that? You know what I mean? But there's so much they can do. But are they doing it? Like is the norm the old way, or is the norm moving to the new way? Like, what's the obstacle? Yeah, it seems so simple, but there's an obstacle. What's the obstacle?
Yeah, the obstacle is that it's the cost now, right? Because there is a cost in transferring over. There's time involved. and it's a different level of spend on your advisors. I think a lot of small business owners, and rightly so, entrepreneurs are going to focus on growing a business,
Of course.
and that's where they fall short. They don't look at their banking needs early on. They don't look at their accounting needs early on. When it comes time for them to be there, then it's sort of an eye opener and a shocker, because now you got to move to a different level, and there is cost associated with that. But in the past, there was a runway because a business built up and it had the opportunity to get there. Now everybody is rushing to get there because of the world has changed, and everyone needs to go virtually, and everyone needs the information. So there's a time crunch. So are we there yet? No, but a lot of businesses are getting there really quick, and it's educating the business owners, which is why you want to have a team behind you, whether it's on the banking side with Richard and Nydia, whether it's on your legal side, whether it's your accounting side, so they can help you advise, because there's a lot of product and a lot of information out there. So the norm is still, it's somewhere in between. You still got a lot of old school, and you still have them moving up to the new way. But I can tell you right now, a lot of it is happening really, really quick.
Okay. Well, we're coming to an end of our session, but there's a few things I want to mention at the end. First, this is a great panel. Thank you so much. This is a great panel. But also, there's a lot of talent here. So I want to say, Melanie, if people need look, this all ties in, valuations, accounting. Look, people want to grow the value of their business. Okay, Melanie? So just very quickly, in a very short point, how does all this affect business valuation? There's two questions here. And how do people get hold of you? Like, how does this affect business valuation when people do or don't do? You know what I mean? What needs to be done on the banking side?
Well, one of the tie-ins, I guess, would be the projections business plans, which people have to think through, because valuations is all perspective. The bank needs to get some plans as to what is expected, and everyone's realistic that nobody really knows. So I guess one of the questions for the panel for everybody would be, how do you deal with that? I know in my valuation practice, we're doing a lot of modeling, a lot of scenario analysis, and knowing that nobody really knows, but you have to take that uncertainty into consideration. So anyway, how you reach me is at Kalex Valuations, Melanie at Kalex Valuations.
But Melanie is one top-notch valuator. I just want to say she's fantastic, and I encourage people to reach out to her if you need help on business valuation. In terms of TD Bank, how do your branch, tell us about your branch, where you are. People want to get a hold of you. Who would they speak to? How is the best way to do that? Where's your branch located? This is what I call plug time. Okay. Okay. So, Richard, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah.
Your team?
I would say, in a normal scenario, if this was in person, I'll give out my business cards. But we're at Pine Valley and Highway 7 in the Vaughan area, Woodbridge, Vaughan area. And if you want to get a hold of us, I would say, I don't know. Maybe, should we give a number?
Or they can contact me. They can reach out to me. I have all your contact information. I'll be happy to refer you. Happy.
I guess our emails would be the easiest way to contact right now, because
emails.
Email would be the quickest and fastest way.
Reach out on LinkedIn is another way. You can contact everybody on LinkedIn, either one of them. They're all on LinkedIn. You can contact them. Mm-hmm. And Frank, tell us about your firm. Your top-notch firm, how do people get hold of you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, easiest way to get a hold of me is just through email, fbellata@sblr.ca, or go to our website, www.sblr.ca, and you can get in contact with us there. We have a chat. We have a blog page there with updates on the most recent information with the COVID and all the relief measures there.
Thank you. Yeah, you got some great material. Matter of fact, if people just subscribe to on your website, just subscribe, there's a ton of great information. I'm subscribing. I'm getting current, right on top of the moment, current information. So really, really excellent job that your firm's doing to keep the education and keep the knowledge base keep going. I just want to talk about a couple things before we end, something that I'm personally very passionate about. Actually, Melanie's going to be with me tomorrow as well. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we have a diversity, the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion in the Community Conference. We have over 20 speakers. This is a very, very important topic. This has a lot of very high quality people. The Deputy Mayor of Toronto, the First Lady of Jamaica. There is a tremendous for a very passionate movement that's taking place in our once in a lifetime in our society. So I encourage people to sign up and attend. You'll see it all over my LinkedIn promoting this, and I do not miss this event. It's about the BIPOC community, Indigenous, really insightful, and a tremendous event. It's a 2.5 hour event, everything. We got Hal Johnson, who's I call him Mr. Body Break. He's on there. We're talking film, we're talking to-be, we're talking diversity in many ways. There's a lot of accounting in there as well. Some accounting professionals are included in that event. Do not miss this. Really encourage people to attend. And on that note, just one last thing. Thursday, we have another session involving really how to work with your LinkedIn profile. And on that note, I want to thank Frank. I want to thank Crystal. I want to thank Richard. I want to thank Nita and Melanie for today, for a wonderful session. Really highly insightful, highly informative, and have a wonderful day. If anybody wants to add any points, we're going to close off in a moment, and I think we're good. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful
Thank you,
day.
Bruce. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Everyone, bye.
Bye, everybody.